The first Crash Bandicoot game came out in 1996, set on the fictional Wumpa Islands following the adventures of the anthropomorphic Bandicoot Crash, who takes on the series' main antagonist Doctor Neo Cortex, his creator, who wants him dead. The series became a huge hit, and often those who had a PS1 growing up get real nostalgic over the first few titles. The game, like many others that we've explored on our channel, has also seeped into the imagination of many a creative writer, which has spawned a slew of creepypastas over the years. So today we're taking a look at some of the spooky stories with our list of the scariest Crash Bandicoot creepypastas. And starting us off, Crashed Memories. This creepypasta is about a gamer named Cory who felt nostalgic and plugged in his old PS1 console for kicks. Now digging through his old games, he came across Crash Bandicoot 2, a game that he and his brother had played together when they were young. So he popped it in and began to play. His old save file was still there. He had left off at the 4th World Hub and jumped into the Hanging Out level. As he got into it, all of his happy memories flooded back to him. He was also impressed by how good he was at navigating the level, and couldn't for the life of him remember getting stuck on this level in the past. Perhaps it was all of the experience that he had clocked from playing a ceaseless amount of MMOs over the years that made him better at Crash 2. The next level, Digin, didn't bring about the same kind of bliss. It was glitchier than he recalled. Textures seemed to be missing, characters looked discolored, and the enemies didn't do anything. They didn't react. He beat the level and moved on to the next, Cold Hard Crash. This was even stranger. The snow in the level was grayish red, the ice was dark red, and the enemies looked downright demonic. Cory paused the game to send a message to his brother asking if the game was a bootleg version, if he could remember. His brother said it wasn't and that he had never touched the game since they last played it years and years ago. Cory continued to play, grinding his way through the level, only to reach the bonus area. But the bonus area was different. It brought him back into the warp room. Crash had completely disappeared and the game was now in first person. Cortex appeared and began to speak to him. "Surprised to see me, Cory?" he asked. Cory freaked out a little. How could the game know his name? "You haven't forgotten us, have you?" Cortex asked. Cory didn't know what to do. He spoke aloud, responding, "No, Immediately he was cut off by Cortex screaming the word lies. Cortex asked him if he wanted to see what he caused by not completing the game. Moving aside, Cortex revealed Coco crying with a dark ring around her neck. Then Cory saw another horrific image. Crash was carrying Tiny Tiger's legs in his hands, wearing Ripperoo's straitjacket covered in blood. Crash looked up at him, staring Cory in the eye and said, "You broke the game, Cory. You broke the game." The screen then turned to static. Moving on to our next creepypasta, The Cheat Code. This creepypasta comes from Enderkate 4. The story begins with the narrator receiving a PS2 as a gift. Searching for old games to play at their local Goodwill, they managed to find a copy of Crash Bandicoot 2. While they could play the game, the one downside was that because it was a PS1 game, it needed a PS1 memory card in order to save. So understanding that they'd have to give it a go in one sit down, they looked online to see if there were any cheat codes that could help them speed up the game. While looking, they found one code which was titled A Series of Numbers, and was a really short cheat to input. After googling it, they found nothing online about it, so they figured they would just give it a shot anyway. It took the narrator to the polar bear level, but everything was all wrong. The snow was covered in blood, the music was distorted, the polar bear ran with a limp and collapsed, sending Crash into a bunch of nitro boxes. Crash exploded, little bloody pieces going everywhere. Disgusted, the player went back to the website that they got the cheat from, but couldn't find the code anywhere. There was no record of it. They emailed their friend who was an expert when it came to cheat codes and asked about whether they knew what this code was. Frustrated, the player turned the game back on. Strangely enough, the game, despite not having the memory card, began right where the player had left off. And what did they see? The word death written in blood in the snow. They panicked and pulled out the power cord from their TV. To their horror, the word was still burnt into the television screen. That's when they saw that their friend had replied, asking if it was the very same exact code that they had used. The player asked why. The friend said that back when the game was being developed, a man who used to work for the developers on the game's cheat codes was fired for creating morbid cheats and secretly placing them into the games. That was the one code that was never taken out. To this day, the word death is still burnt into the player's TV screen. Next up, we have the beta level. Marcus James Gillian lived in a small town. He always felt that there wasn't much to do, so he spent most of his downtime playing on his PlayStation, the original PS1. He loved classic games, but his favorite by far was Crash Bandicoot. When he went to school, he would always brag to his peers about how pro he was at the game, how he beat Cortex, and how he had a high score, you name it. A friend of his, the author of this creepypasta, visited him one weekend and hopped on his computer as he was busy gaming away on his PlayStation. The author found himself on YouTube with Marcus's account logged in. He noticed that he had a private message. Being nosy, the author clicked on it just to see. It read, "Dear Crash Fan 23451, I heard you like Crash Bandicoot, so I thought I'd give you a free copy of the Crash Bandicoot beta. Being the fan you are, you've probably already played the betas, but this one is a lot different. Me and my friends have modified it a bit. But be warned, there's something in the game. We couldn't remove it or figure out what it was. Signed, Joe3556HD." The author called over Marcus, who paused his game and read the message. Immediately, he shoved the author out of the way and grabbed his computer creator's mouse. Within minutes, he had downloaded the beta game using a PSX emulator. It played out very much like the Crash beta that the author had seen Marcus play before. After a few hours of watching, the author passed out in the armchair in Marcus's room. He vaguely remembered Marcus nudging him awake, saying something about a new island, something unheard of in the game. Rubbing his eyes, the author told him to go ahead and select it. That's when the screen turned red, and next thing they knew, the game brought them to a grassy level that looked similar to the first level in Crash Bandicoot 2. The loading text was replaced with the word hell. As they entered the level, they noticed something very unsettling. All of the birds, turtles, etc. all had slit throats, and were either hanging from trees or lying on the ground. Crash wasn't in third-person perspective. The game had put him in first-person POV. A cutscene began to play out of nowhere. Coco was there, a character who would not appear until Crash 2. The POV walked up to her, and the two saw Crash extend his arms and begin to strangle her to death. The author ran out of Marcus's house in fear. The next day, Marcus did not show up to school. The author would later find out that Marcus was found in his bedroom with his throat slashed. And finally, last but not least, Crash EXE. Crash EXE is a riff of the famous Sonic EXE creepypasta. The story follows a gamer who gets a mysterious disc with the words Crash Bandicoot.exe written on it in marker. They decide to pop it into their old PlayStation and give it a go. But shortly after they start playing, they realize something isn't right. The game is constantly interrupted by loud static, appearing at random intervals, scaring the crap out of the player. Despite this, they continue to play. As they make their way through the levels, they spot Crash waiting for them at the end of the course. The screen cuts to black as they approach this other Crash, and on the level screen a title appears that reads, "Do you not repent?" The static reappears. The player continues on to the next level, and the same thing happens again. They see another Crash in the distance, but this time when they reach him, they see that he doesn't have a face. The level screen reappears, it's now entirely red, and the text appears with it says, "I watch you every night." Terrifying images of Crash then appear, and the faceless Crash consumes the player's character, sucking its face off. Eventually the game turns to static, and screams pour out of the audio. Alright, there we have it friends. Which of these Crash Bandicoot creepypastas freaked you out the most? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more creepypasta lists just like this one. In the meantime though, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.